I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but the coaching industry is shifting a bit. And for some offers, it's like you're not noticing a change at all. And others of you are just feeling like some shifts, right? And I don't know if any of you watching or listening are AI nerds yet, but if you're not, you should definitely take AI super serious because it's really changing the world as we know it, in my opinion. Like, who knows what it's going to be like in a year from now, 2, 3 years from now. And a lot of people, what they sell and what you sell even could be information. And we're transitioning out of the information space, right? Where literally our products used to be called info products. And I believe we're transitioning into proximity offers, proximity, transformation, right? Community, relationships, those types of things is what people are going to be buying and willing to spend a lot of money on. So I'm going to just walk you through what I'm calling the profit offer, which is an offer designed to make you the most profit possible and to be easy to sell and to be attractive to buyers, right? So in offers, like, there's all different types of things we could do. We could talk about like low ticket, right? Front end offers. We could talk about, your core offer, right? We could talk about an upsell, right? Higher level thing. And then we could even talk about, your highest level, like one-to-one consultancy or something like that, where you're just, in the weeds with them super deep, right? So there's a lot of different things you could do, but I, in my own offer, have made some tweaks, and I'm just going to show you guys, knowing everything I know about coaching and what I know now. These are the few changes I would have made early on. And the real thing that people want, and you guys could probably agree with this, is not just the right information, but you want proximity to the coach at some level, right? Like, that's a desire a lot of people have. So how I'm structuring things for me is really threefold. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we used to have start and scale, and all that really changed through these products was just the branding. So I've kind of rebranded everything to just inner circle, because what people are truly buying is just being around me, the course, being around each other, other coaches, things like that. So I've basically created my business to have one offer, okay, but different tiers of access. And what is the access to? The access is to me, right? So basically, everyone gets the same group, right? The core big community. Everyone gets the same course. Everyone comes to the same calls, group call wise. And I'm actually, Alexis, I'm going to give you host. That way we can mute people. Let me make that change really quick. Okay, cool. There we go. Yeah, so they get the same group, same course, but where different offers change is the proximity level, right? And so I'm just going to break it down like very simply. So basically, there's 4 different levels of working with me, but 3 in this product, inner circle, if you will. So on the outskirts of everything that I make. So just think of like this as you as the coach, and basically you're just putting out information into the world, right? So obviously you've got, YouTube content that helps people for free. I've got, my Skool group that helps people for free. I've got my Instagram that helps people for free. I'm running ads to, all those. And then you've got, a low ticket product that people could buy, right? And they get even closer into your ecosystem. So I would consider low ticket product just a separate offer, but it gets them into becoming a buyer. So everyone in the green circle is a buyer. Everyone in the white circles is in the core product, right? So I'm going to go a little deeper here. So at the highest level, right, of your coaching, like you guys should have some type of one-to-one upsell, right? Now, if you're like just starting out, you've got 5 clients, you're probably only doing one-to-ones, right? But then once you get enough students, then you should transition to group coaching, right? So some of you guys are like, I'm already doing group. I've got 50 guys in there. Then it's like, okay, then you should have a one-to-one, tighter knit upsell. So for me, what I'm doing is we've got the group offer, which is just a paid in full option, right? So most of you guys are probably just doing paid in fulls, right? Then we have the one-to-one option, which is also just a paid in full option, right? But in the middle here, we actually created a weekly recurring offer where people pay a certain amount each week, and then they get even more access to me, right? 2 audio calls per month, and maybe potentially a Zoom if needed. And then at this level, people get direct access to me, private Slack channel, Zoom calls, things like that. So if people, what they truly want is proximity to you, you need to structure things in a way where they can have it if they want, right? So the reason this is powerful is because of MRR, right? And most people don't have recurring revenue. But the middle offer here is actually recurring revenue. And right now, our recurring revenue is at a place where it covers all of our expenses. So this is the model I would run if I were you guys and can start completely from scratch. And so how this could practically work is you start off selling one-to-one coaching, right? You get your first 5 people, and then you transition straight into group. And this is what most of you guys are probably selling. But there is definitely an opportunity for some of your clients who you've worked with to work closer with you, right? Now, depending on how big your business is, you could even change the one-to-one, right? And your model could look like this, where you have group and then you have one-to-ones that are paid on a weekly basis, right? Or if you've got enough clients, you could do what I'm doing and have like a highest tier offer, mid-tier, and then your group. But that's the basics of how you can structure your offer. But I wanted to talk about why. And so if you've watched any of my YouTube videos lately, you've probably seen this, but I just want to hit on it again with you guys because typically it takes you hearing things probably like 5 to 10 times for you to realize why it works, how it's important, and why you should implement it. So everybody should know this number. Like if you don't know this number, you're missing out on a lot of money. You need to know what your business expenses are, right? How many of you in the chat, and you can be honest, know what your business expenses are right now? Put me in the chat if you know the number, like right off the top of your head. Me. Okay, so a few of you guys, which is good. And for the rest of us, if you're honest, you're probably like, I do the math at the end of the month, so I don't really know, right? But I'll just help you, right? What are you spending on ads? What are you spending on team? What are you spending on softwares? What are you spending on taxes, right? What are you spending on coaching? All these additional things that really add up, right? And so a lot of coaching businesses I've found can be pretty bloated, meaning there's a bunch of expenses that potentially could be unnecessary, right? So I would encourage everybody to just go through and look at some of this stuff and like look at your actual bank statements and just say, okay, are you really using that software? Like I had a software I was paying $600 a month for to be able to send text out. And I realized I could actually use a different software and save money, right? And it's like sometimes whenever we start making more money, we forget how much money $500, $600 a month is. over the course of a year. That's a couple grand, right? So look at your expenses, and then I would also look at your personal expenses, right? So whatever it costs for you to survive, right? Your house payment, car payments, credit cards, bills, groceries, internet, all those things. And I would actually find that number and then include it into what I'm showing you here, which is your total expenses. I just like having them both together because what we're trying to do is create stability and peace and profit with this model. So let's just say for you do all this, you run this math where you've got your personal expenses plus your business, and let's say you're at $15K a month, meaning this, you've got to make $15K to be able to live, or else you're going in the negative, right? And the part that sucks about high ticket is that you could have a $20K month, right, where you profit $5K, and then next month, whether you know it or not, you literally start each month at zero, right? And then you're basically questioning if you'll be able to make your bills and if you'll be able to create profit. And I've actually found that this is where the stress that most people feel comes from. If you are feeling, stressed ever, it comes from not having stability. So whether, you admit it or not or have felt it yet, what a lot of coaches feel is like they're on a seesaw. Like 1 month, super profitable. The next month, flying by the seat of your pants, right? And if you look at your Stripe accounts or WAP accounts, whatever you use to charge, they probably look like this, right? You've got really big days, or like if you did a 20K month, it's like you did 5K, in a 2-day period. You did 7K, in a 2-day period. You went, a few days with no sales. You had a $500 deposit, and then you had, another big day, right? And that's fine. That's just how high ticket works. But these lows here get people to question everything. It's like, should I turn my ads off? Should I shut down my business? Is something broken? Do I need a new ad? Do I need a new team member? What's wrong with my setting? Why am I not booking call? Like all of these thoughts start spiraling. What I've found is in these moments, and in these moments you feel amazing, right? So it highlights really a couple issues. A, that the business shouldn't be run like this. And then B, that we shouldn't be so focused on money to where it gives us peace, right? Like I believe peace comes from, the Lord, right? So it kind of highlighted an area for me where A, I was leaning more on money than on God for peace, right? And then 2, like the Lord kind of showed me, I was also running a business model that made it almost impossible to not face stress, right? So you would feel so much better, and I'm sure you could agree with this. How many of you guys could agree that if you had the same amount of recurring revenue coming in that you had as your expenses, that you would probably feel amazing? Put yes in the chat if you knew on the first of every month that your bills were paid, if you didn't even make a single sale. Now, this is stuff that you probably won't see marketed to you. You probably won't see ads about this because it's not super sexy. But behind the scenes, I've had so many coaches that most people would trade places with reach out to me and say they hate their business. There's a guy doing $500K a month. We got on a call and he's like, dude, this is not like a sales call. Like, I need you to pray for me. Like, I'm struggling with like anxiety, suicide, all these other things. Because when you run a $500K a month business and have a ton of sales reps and spend $100,000 a month on ads and 200 at some points, like it's not very stable. And every month, basically you're starting over and there's a lot of stress that comes with it. Like what I've found is most people have a profit number. So what I would challenge everyone to do is figure out what are your expenses and then build in recurring revenue into your offer and set even like a 30-day sprint, right? Like I just told another client the other day, like, dude, in 30 days, you literally could have enough recurring revenue to where your business could run for several months without you even needing a cell. Now, why is that important? For two reasons. Number one is your lifestyle. You just live different when you don't need clients, right? And two is your content. So what I've seen to be true, even more recently than ever, is my content has gotten so much better and it hits home so much, more, because I actually don't need anything from people. Like, I'm able to make YouTube videos again, not from the context or angle of trying to get sales, which is what I used to have to do to be able to pay our bills, to now literally making content with people's 100% best interests in mind and not even needing things from people. And whenever you come across as not needy, what happens is you become attractive, and then people even want to work with you at a greater level. Think about it. When is the last time you saw Rolex offer a discount? Never, right? Usually what happens is if you go into the Rolex store, they say, we don't have any available. Get on the waiting list, right? Or let's say you go to Apple. When have you ever seen Apple run a promotion? Unless it was a phone carrier, right? Trying to get you to sign up. But you still pay full price for Apple, always, right? And so what many of us don't realize that we're doing is we're coming off extremely desperate to people, not because we're desperate people, but because we're running a model that requires us to be desperate to pay the bills. So step one, figure out your expenses. Step two, build up enough recurring revenue to cover all of your expenses. Step three is where it gets extremely fun, because if you can pull that off, every single high ticket sale that you make into your group offer or your one-to-one offer is straight profit, right? Like, it was super cool. I used to get paid $5,000 a month, probably 4 years ago, at a W-2 job where, I thought I was balling. And I actually used that money to pay off like $40K of debt, and I felt amazing. But literally last month, I was able to tithe a little bit more than that to my church, right? And that comes from having a model that's profitable. And so the two reasons you would even have a coaching business is, number one, to make impact, to help your students, to make positive change in the world. And then number two is to profit, right? Like, if you're not profiting, you're not even getting to reap the benefit of running a coaching business. So it's like you did 30K last month, but 27 of it was expenses. So who cares? You're actually broke, right? So step three would be your high ticket profit. And then number four is what I've found has worked really well for me recently is figuring out your profit number, right? So I never really took a big look at what I wanted to do with my life and how much money I needed to make to do it, right? So what I did was I started off, I was like, what do I practically want to do? Like, yes, the goal is, to be wealthy. Number one, right? Number two is I said I wanted to give 5K a month minimum to my church, right? I wanted to, make X, Y, and Z happen with my personal finances, and I wanted to buy my grandpa a truck this Christmas, right? And cash. So obviously there's some things I could just do naturally, but I was like, what do I need to make in order to build wealth, be able to, tithe X amount minimum and do the other things I wanted to do? And I realized for me, that number wasn't nearly as big as I thought it was, right? And for you, you could be like, Brandon, if you're telling me I could profit after my bills are paid, okay? So that's what I'm considering profit, isn't paying this is like all your bills are paid, your apartment payment's paid, your car payment, all of those things are covered by your recurring revenue. What is the number, right? Is it 10K a month, 20? Unless you're trying to buy like a yacht and a private jet, it's probably not as much as you think, right? Which means the lifestyle, which is the whole reason you started all this, that you're trying to attain, and the impact you're trying to make, and the ability to steward and do cool stuff is actually way, way closer than you think if you run the model the right way. So the whole point of the proximity offer is to create a lot of profit and make impact while doing it. And I've found that the most impact I've made in people's lives hasn't just been through a course where, people come in and like, yo, you taught me the Instagram boosted ad. It's like, dude, you could have learned that on my YouTube channel, right? The most impact that I've made is mindset shifts and people actually being in proximity to me. And they're like, dude, you changed my life, right? So yeah, this is where I see things shifting to. Just how waves usually happen, right? Like back in the day, there was like this organic Facebook group wave, right? And then that kind of died out. And then, there was VSLs. Everybody was talking about VSLs. Those kind of died out. Then, there was the IG ads, right? And now what I'm seeing is building a business that's profitable, right? Like that's like the new wave. And what happens is if you don't change what you're doing, you get left behind. You really do, right? So now, am I saying IG doesn't work anymore? No. But what I am saying is if I was a coach and I didn't have any recurring revenue, it would be my number one priority to figure out how the heck to get it.